everyone. I'm Xin Tan, a PhD student from Peking University. Welcome to my talk. This is a joint work with Professor Minghui Zhou and Zeyu. For open source projects, keeping a good influx of new developers is critical for their survival, long-term success, and continuity. Newcomers also eagerly participate in open source projects, driven by the factors such as extrinsic benefits and intrinsic motivations. However, successful onboarding in open source projects is difficult, especially for developers who are new to open source, because they usually don't know where to start. Therefore, it's necessary to provide support for newcomers, especially for their first step. Many studies are devoted to helping newcomers participate in open source projects. They mainly include three types. The first is exploring the motivation of newcomers, such as intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. The second one focuses on identifying the barriers of newcomers, including both technical challenges and non-technical challenges. And the last type focuses on putting forward theories and strategies helping newcomers. Among them, researchers find recommending, recommending suitable tasks is very important for newcomers. This idea is also applied in practice to help newcomers successfully contribute. GitHub encourages projects to tag the issues that are suitable for newcomers, with labels such as Good First Issue. However, it's still unclear how exactly Good First issues help newcomers onboarding and what kind of tasks are suitable for newcomers. Therefore, in order to investigate the mechanism of Good First issues, we put forward four research questions focusing on its application status, effect, problems, and best practice. The first question is, how common do projects report Good First issues? Second, how are Good First issues solved? Third, what factors and problems are related to the effectiveness of Good First issues? And the last one is how to identify appropriate Good First issues. We choose the top 500 projects of 6 most popular programming languages on GitHub. Therefore, there are 3,000 projects in the initial dataset. Then we applied a set of rules to exclude some projects. For example, we excluded the projects that reported less than 50 issues. Finally, we obtained 816 projects. Because not all the projects tag issues that are friendly to newcomers using Good First Issue label. To identify all these issues, the first two authors manually checked all the issues labels in these projects and discussed to reach the arrangement. This chart shows the distribution of these labels. As you can see, Good First Issue is most commonly used label. Eventually, we obtained 9,368 Good First issues. Now let's see the results. This chart shows the trend of the application of Good First issue. We can see that in GitHub, more and more projects are helping newcomers contribute by leaving Good First issues. To understand the distribution of the number of Good First issues per project, we draw the violin plots. We can conclude that for most projects, This type of issues account for a small proportion among the project's issues. Further, we want to know the relationship between the popularity of the projects and the application of this mechanism. We draw the ratios of the projects reporting good first issues. Each bar represents 40 projects, and all the projects are sorted in descending order of popularity. It seems that popular projects are more likely to label good first issues for newcomers. The second research question aims to evaluate the effect of this mechanism. We try to illustrate this from two aspects. The first one is resolution process. We put forward a set of metrics such as number of days of resolution, number of actors who subscribe to receive notification, and the number of comments. Based on these metrics, we compared the good first issues and other issues. Take a look at this figure. It seems that all the metrics of good first issues are higher than other issues. After statistical analysis, only resolution process shows an obvious difference with large effect size. Therefore, we can conclude that for the resolution process, good first issues often take longer in terms of resolution time. However, for others there is no obvious actual difference. Then we want to know the effect of good first issues. We manually check the 200 good first issues and read their comments. These issues involve 141 newcomers. In our study, we use two definitions of newcomers. The one is the developers who have not contributed any commit, which is a common used definition in the literature. The another is the developers who has contributed less than 3 commits in this project, because the distribution of the number of previous commits of developers who solved good first issues shows sparse in the middle while dense at both ends, and the 2 commits is a perfect dividing point. By drawing the pie chart of resolution of good first issues, we find that there are still 40% of good first issues that were not solved by newcomers, among which nearly 30% did not attract newcomers' attention. Then we investigate all the newcomers that tried to solve these issues. We found that although nearly 70% of newcomers successfully solved the good first issues, there are still more than 30% of newcomers who failed to solve the good first issues. Among 20% Among them, 20% were solved by experienced developers, and 10% were solved by other newcomers. Previous studies found that the continuity of developers is essential for project sustain. Therefore, we analyze the retention of these newcomers. Unfortunately, most of newcomers are just a one-time contributor, which makes good first issues less effective from the project's perspective. Based on the above analysis, we know that although good first issues can help newcomers onboarding, there are still many problems. Therefore, the aim of the third research question is to figure out these problems. We first contrast a logistic regression model, considering the factors that may influence the effect and considering the factors that may influence the The effect of good first issues. We put forward 10 factors from 4 dimensions: textual factors, technical factors, project popularity, and the reputation of labor. The results show that issues with detailed description, involving less deletions, labeled by little experienced members, and in popular projects are more likely solved by newcomers. The factor's reputation of labor is different with our expectation, which may illustrate the mismatch between newcomers and experts. To complement the formal results, we did an email survey with the newcomers and the project members who are associated with the ineffective goal first issues in RQ2. Ineffective issues means that these issues were failed solved by newcomers. We asked them for the possible reasons for the failed contributions. We obtained more problems covering categories of project, mechanism, and newcomers. The most serious problem is insufficient goal first issues in the project, followed by inappropriate goal first issues. The above results show that inappropriate goal first issues is a serious problem. Therefore, IQ4 aims to seek best practice that help to identify goal first issues. First, we did an email survey with 153 developers who recently labeled goal first issues to ask the standards. Eventually, we obtained 24 valid responses. Using OpenCoding, we found the following features of issues are important: clear issue description, self-contained change, limited skills needed, less workload, and so on. For more interesting details, please refer to our paper. Further, we want to know what clear description means. We compared the descriptions of good first issues solved by newcomers and unsolved by newcomers. We found that the following information in descriptions may make issues easier to be solved by newcomers: the detailed environment of the version, the subsystem, and the platform where the issue occurs, the actual return of the issue, the expected return of the issue, and the issue of documents. Our work has rich implications. I only list some of them here. For newcomers, we found that some of them complained that it is hard to start on a new project and get timely help from mentors. Therefore, when newcomers look for a project to contribute to, they may check first whether they can get decent documentations and available support from the project. For project members, the criteria of good first issues we identified can give them ideas of supporting newcomers. In addition, we found a lot of problems of this mechanism. Project members can optimize this mechanism considering this problem. For example, good first issues often get snapped up quickly by experienced developers. Therefore, project members could put a limit on who can pick the good first issues. For researchers, how to measure these criteria to automatically identify good first issues is a valuable research question. The results for IQ3 shows that the factors affecting the effect of good first issues are complicated and various. In fact, we have not conducted in-depth research on some factors. For example, we found that insufficient good first issues is a serious problem, but it is unclear whether this is because some appropriate issues are not marked as good first issues, or whether such issues are actually rare in projects. Future work can explore the reasons behind these factors and find more valuable factors and solutions. Before finishing my talk, I would like to give a brief summary. We studied the good first issues on GitHub. We found that more and more projects are applying this mechanism. However, only half of them were solved by newcomers. We discovered many problems, such as unclear description and insufficient good first issues. To help identify good first issues, we put forward a set of criteria. Newcomer onboarding is an important but challenging question in open source projects. I hope that our work can really optimize this mechanism and help newcomers in open source. Thank you for your listening.